Hi and welcome. I'm Elaine. Super excited that you could join me today. We're looking at cheesecake, and not just an original cheesecake, but one with chocolate chips in it. I hope you're going to enjoy not only the recipe and the fun of cooking along with me, but also maybe this might become a fun recipe that you can share with your family at birthdays or special events, such as the one that I'm going to tomorrow. So let's take a look at what is included in this recipe. Everything in this recipe is vegan, from the eggs and the chocolate chips to the cookies that we're using for the base. Let's get started. The blend tech is here on the counter and ready to work right along with us. We're going to take our vegan chocolate chip cookies, and this is going to be the crust. It's super fun to come up with different crusts for your cheesecakes. Depending on what your base is going to be, it's great to partner different flavors right along with it instead of just the basic graham cracker crust. The graham cracker crust is always a great staple and goes along with everything. So if you feel like it's not broke and you don't want to fix it, don't. Do what works for you and your recipes. So I have one complete bag. So this is 4.25 ounces of chocolate chip cookies. We're going to add a 1/4 cup of butter, and you want it to be softened. So room temperature is great. So I'm going to place that in there. And then I also have 1/8 of a cup of sugar. And this is not granulated sugar nor turbinado sugar or anything like that. Because I am watching sugar content, this is the erythritol and monk fruit extract sugar. So I'm going to place that into it. And I am still trying to find a sugar that doesn't have much of an aftertaste to it. I have heard, my friend did share one with me, and I don't remember the name of it. I've not found it nor tried it as yet. I believe she got it off of Amazon. So I will eventually, when I'm ready to purchase another bag of sugar, maybe look at that one, and I will share what I think about that. For now, I'm going to cycle through this to get this basically into a crumbly mixture that we can press into our spring form pan. Okay, so that was pretty quick. I'm just going to see what that looks like. I still have a few pieces that are a little bit larger, so I'm going to let it go again, but I do want to break up the very bottom of it. It's kind of stuck. And if and when that happens to you, as my little spatula is a little on the soft side, being 100% silicone, just take a utensil that's a little bit firmer to just scrape down the sides of it. And then that way, we can ensure that it doesn't quite turn to a butter itself. The blend tech is really powerful and can really break down ingredients to basically a liquid at sometimes. So I'm now going to just pulse it up. We'll check this again. Actually, I'll just use this. Okay. So now it looks like everything is pretty much broken down, into a crumbly mixture, and I will share what that looks like with you. If you can see that in there, that's what that looks like. And we're just going to add this to our pan. And what I did with the springform pan, I did line it with parchment paper, and then I did use some of the plant-based butter to on the sides of the pan to make sure our cheesecake does not stick. And you can use a variety of different items for greasing the sides of the pan, such as Nutvia's shortening that's vegan. You could use that as well. I do like the vegan butters because it does give it that sort of buttery type flavor if it does happen to not necessarily leach into the batter, but flavor the sides or the batter itself. So that way I get that buttery flavor. And of course, with watching the sugar content, the cookies, of course, are going to have sugar in them. So it's super hard. And with this recipe, you're going to see I'm going to add another ingredient that's going to have typical sugar in it versus the like sugar extracts or alcohols. And just looking at this, one of the items that I do like about these cookies is that the total carbohydrates are 14 grams. The dietary fibers is 4. So what I usually do if I purchase something to snack on, I will do the calculation of total carbohydrates divided by the fiber. And if that equals net 5, between 1 up to net 5 grams, then I usually view it as being something that's okay. So that definitely falls within that ballpark. But you do have a total of 8 grams of sugar that's part of this cookie. Okay, so we're just going to press this into the bottom here. And I really, if you wanted a thicker, like crust, one that comes along the sides of the pan, you could basically double this recipe. Again, I am taking this to a family event, and most of my family are not vegan. Most of my family love sugar. So I'm trying to make it as like I would eat here, but at the same time giving it a little bit of more of that sweetness, you know, that others may like or enjoy. Okay, so that's pretty much in the pan, pressed down. I am going to place this in the oven for about 8 minutes. And I currently have my oven set on 300 degrees because that is the temperature I'm going to cook my cheesecake on. Typically with cheesecakes, depending on the flavor or what I'm doing with that cheesecake, I usually use a water bath. This time I am not going to for this recipe. The crust, I just want it to firm up a little bit, but that's what that looks like there. So we're going to place this in the oven. I will come back. We're going to create the batter and get everything into the oven to bake. Ready to do the batter? Let's get started. So I have 3 containers of cream cheese that I did allow to become room temperature. If it's not room temperature, Of course, it's going to leave little chunks of cheesecake throughout your recipe. So it's great to just allow that to be able to sit and completely soften. So we're going to put this first into our mixing bowl, and we're going to make sure that this is beat smooth. We don't want any of those little chunks in our cheesecake. Super nice and smooth, and I think you can see that right on the paddle. It is very creamy. So from there, I'm going to add in the can of condensed oat milk. So I was super excited to see the oat milk come about because it now brings on a number of other recipes that I used to do prior to being vegan that I am going to try. And hopefully you will be right along with me to see some of the additional recipes that I will upload. So we're going to get that out. And I have my other little spatula sitting off to the side with me today because since I am making this for my family, I'm going to, as I go through the batter, just kind of taste it a bit, make sure it's as sweet as they might like it. Since I am using semi-sweet chocolate chip morsels instead of like the Nestle Toll House milk chocolate morsels, the batter or when it's finished, it may not be as sweet as they might be used to. So I will just kind of check that and see what I think about that. But we're going to go ahead and blend this together pretty smooth. And usually, once you add the sweetener, you typically don't want to add additional sweetener after you add the egg. So I may or may not, even if I don't think it's completely sweet enough, I may or may not add the additional 2 tablespoons of sugar. And again, that is erythritol and monk fruit sugar. So I may not even add that in to it. Okay, and then this looks pretty good, nice and creamy. Always scrape down the sides and the bottom, and definitely I needed to do that. I had a little bit on the bottom that was not exactly getting mixed in. So I will turn on the mixer again for that. Okay, that looks really good. At this time, and I know if I taste that it's going to be super sweet, but I'm going to go ahead and add in what is my egg mixture. And instead of using flaxseed, which I do at times use in cheesecake, along with maybe another vegan item that acts as eggs, maybe tofu, silken tofu, which I do try to limit my use of tofu just because soy is in everything. And, soy is not really great for men because of the hormones and everything in it. So I try not to have that really that much with my son. So yeah, different other egg type replacers that can be used in a variety of different batters. And I see just a little bit more of the oat milk in there. Get that out. And we will go ahead and blend this. And at this time, actually, I'm also going to add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then we're going to go ahead and stir this. And I'm going to start on stir, and then I'm going to speed that up a little bit just to get that mixed a little bit better. Stop that and just do a little stir. That looks like it's mixed pretty well. So I am going to just do a little taste of that. It's sweet the way I would like it. I'm going to leave it and hope everyone else likes it as well. So I'm not going to add the additional sugar, but definitely at this point, if you are making this at home and you want to add, you don't have to add that full 2 tablespoons, but if you want to add just a little bit more sweetness, definitely do. I did make another cheesecake for them that is a bit more sweet with like a cherry topping on that. This one, I'm going to leave it a little bit not so sweet. So at this point, we are going to stop here. I'm going to take off the paddle, and we will also remove the bowl from the mixer. I'm going to clean off the paddle, and then there is another step that I'm going to do for the chocolate chips. And I will do that here in just a second. Welcome back. So I had to fend off my son from trying to lick the spatula, stick his finger in the bowl, etc., etc. Do you have one of those at home? Then you get me. We have the batter that has come off of the mixing bowl. And what we're going to do is add the chocolate chips into the batter. So I did, if you notice, separate it out when you saw the screenshot of the ingredients that I'm using. So we're going to place a 1/3 cup of the chips into a bowl. I'm going to add flour to that, and just gonna shake the bowl up just to try to coat the chocolate chips with the flour. And what that flour is gonna try to do is keep these chocolate chips suspended in the batter without just all of them sinking to the bottom. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so they're coated. If you want a few more that's kind of up and above, you can do more than 1/3 of a cup. That's definitely what I do. So I am going to add these to my batter. Okay. So we're just going to stir those in. Okay. And then from there, we're just going to take the batter, pour it into our springform pan. This is the cookie base that I cooked just for about 8 minutes in the oven. So just to firm that up, we're going to pour this in. I feel my son staring at me. I'm gonna scoop out a little bit for him and make a small little taste size for him. Oh my gosh. Do you have one of these at home? Um, but I'm so happy that my son loves my cooking. And, he doesn't want to be vegan at this time. So I'm just super excited that he loves the food that mom makes. So I won't discourage that at all. Okay, so that looks really good. And then we're just going to take the rest of the chocolate chips and we're going to sprinkle them on the top. And someone was trying to get to the bottom, to the batter. I actually forgot to sprinkle some on the bottom. So definitely don't forget that step. Do sprinkle some of these on the bottom and then you can sprinkle the rest on the top. I think that's pretty good. And that's why I have some left over. Okay, so this one won't be as chocolate chippy as some of the others I've done in the past, but you get the idea. So now we're going to place this into the oven for about an hour at 300 degrees. After it's done, we're just going to let it sit in the oven for a little bit with the oven off past the hour, but definitely check on it. Turn the light on and see what it's looking like. You can actually, during the time of it, just kind of shake it a little bit, maybe after 30-45 minutes, and see how it's firming up. And at that point, if you think you have a nice golden brown color or you think it's great, then you can turn that oven off, let it sit for a little bit in there as that temperature starts to drop. Remove it, allow it to cool, place it in the refrigerator and get cold before removing the sides of the pan. So I will return once the cheesecake has cooked and show you what the final results are. So this is our cheesecake when it comes out of the oven. It looks golden and yummy. I allowed it to cook almost for an hour at 300 degrees. I then allowed it to sit in the oven until it cooled for about another hour. I am then going to place it into the refrigerator overnight, and we will share how others enjoy it tomorrow. So it is the next morning, and this is what our cheesecake looks like coming out of the refrigerator. I did leave it on the springform pan because I'm going to be traveling to a family gathering where this is going to be shared. And I'm going to travel with it in the springform pan. So I'm going to put that protection back around onto the cheesecake. I will say again, just to reiterate, like I did after taking it out of the oven, I did not cook it for the full hour. Every oven temperature is different. So, and I did cook it in my single rack oven portion of my stove here. So maybe it might get a little warmer than if you have like a 2-rack oven that you're cooking in. So maybe that's why it cooked a little bit faster for me, but you want to keep that eye on it. So I did take it out about with 11 minutes to go on it. And when I did take it out, there was a bit of movement in it. You don't want it to cook so much that it starts to liquefy. So just kind of take it out. Or I'm sorry, don't take it out. Leave it in the oven. Allow it to just slowly cool down its temperature. And at the same time, it's still going to be slightly cooking as it's cooling down. And then leave it in there for an hour. Take it out, which I shared it with you. And then place it in the refrigerator for a minimum of 6 to 8 hours. or overnight as I did. And then this will be your result. And it's going to be yummy goodness. Um, of course, there are sugars in here from the condensed oat milk that I used, and I typically am trying to stay clear of sugar. But again, going to a family event, maybe one time here and there, it might be okay, but usually we're going to want to stay away from those sugars. Um, so this is your chocolate chip cheesecake. I'd love to know what you think about it if you tried this recipe. I want you to stay tuned because there's going to be a little bit more added to this video. So I don't want you to miss out. So don't stop watching. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm back. And just like I said, I have a special surprise for you. We have Binaural Eats.
Hey you guys, what's going on? So yeah, I'm just hanging out with the family. We're having a big reunion today. And, this is Elaine's chocolate cheesecake. I'm gonna give it a try. And you guys know Elaine's channel. It's all vegan, made from natural ingredients. So I'm gonna give this a try. And then there's another surprise she made for me. So I'm gonna try them both. And she didn't make a video yet of the other one, but if you want her to do it, let her know. She'll do a video of this other one. I'll show it to you in a minute. But let's give this a try. Elaine's chocolate cheesecake. You guys know I love cheesecake, right? Mm, so good. I wish the camera was a little closer. You guys could hear all the great sounds, but mm, pretty good. I feel like I'm at one of those restaurants where they have like all the different cheesecakes lined up and you just take a little taste of each one. You guys know I can't do that, right? I just have to eat the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Sorry, you guys. I'm actually sitting in an empty room. There's just a couple tables in here, so the echo is probably pretty bad in here, but it's okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. So what's this next one?
The next one is a really simple cheesecake again. It's vegan, but it is with a cherry topping on it.
Wow, look at that, you guys. Here, let me hold it up so she can give you up close there. So you said this is made out of cashews, right?
That one is made out of cashews.
All right. So again, if you guys want a video on how to make this one, I'm sure she'll show you how to do it. Wow, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can. Sorry, I'm probably making a mess here, but I wanted to show you guys the inside. So that's literally the filling is made out of cashews. All right, so let's give this one a try. Mm, that's just delicious. You never know this was made out of cashews. It just tastes like a regular cheesecake. So yeah, that's about it for the day. Awesome cheesecakes. We had some chocolate chip cheesecake, and this one was cherry cheesecake with the filling made out of cashews. So let her know in the comments if you want her to do a video on how to make the cashew cheesecake. So I guess we're gonna sign out for now. It was great seeing you guys, and see you next time.
Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was super fun, and I hope you now have a new go-to for cheesecake. Maybe you're vegan and you're thinking, I could never make something like that at home, or see how easy that was. Super easy. I have so many different recipes for cheesecake. I actually made another one that was super simple that I'm going to be taking to my family gathering as well, but very easy. I can make very complicated ones and I can make easy ones. So you can have that dessert at home if you want it. Again, being the sugars, it's not something we want to overdo, but here and there, every now and again for a special event or something like that, maybe. So again, please do like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you try a different crust or something like that, I'd love to hear about it. Love to know what you think about this recipe, and join me again.